Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. Hello again, people, and welcome to Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. It's the second day in the standard working week, and we're waiting in the studio, waiting for you to come in, kick off your shoes, sit down, take a sip of your coffee, and get ready for today's lesson. So, are you all ready? Are your shoes off? What's that smell? Oh, never mind. All right then, let's get started. All right, okay, here we go. And today, to make sure that we finish what I wanted to finish a couple of days ago, we're going to get stuck in right now to the idea of New Year's resolutions. Okay, we all know that like geese and pigs, we tend to put on weight over the Christmas period. We also know that there are different reasons for us putting on weight. The pigs and geese don't put on weight as a result of going to parties and spending more time in restaurants and at the dinner table, do they? No. Pigs and geese are sociable animals, true, but they don't have any money, so they can't go to the pub. Also, they don't cook at home, and they don't have parties. No, when pigs and geese get fatter, it's because the farmer has decided that he wants to make them fatter. And there's a special verb for that. Do you remember what it is? We've got the normal verb, the one that we use to talk about ourselves, the verb to put on weight, which means that we're getting fatter. But what the farmer does to the animals is he gives them more and more pizza, hamburgers, things like that. Lots of bread, carbohydrates. And the animals eat more and more and more and get fatter and fatter and fatter. And the verb to describe that is to fatten up. The farmer fattens up the pigs and geese. All right, now, stop thinking about fat animals. Blimey! Geoffrey the giraffe has been eating a bit too much, hasn't he? Jesus! Okay, now, back to where we wanted to be. We all remember the verb to tend. Yes, that's right, the verb to tend, which we use with another verb in the infinitive to say what normally happens, what is likely to happen. And we know, using this verb, that people tend to put on weight at Christmas. Lots of food, mince pies, turkey, goose, and lots of drink, eggnog, snowballs, and other Christmassy drinks. Okay, so we all tend to put on weight at Christmas. And then, well, the 1st of January comes. We wake up in the morning recovering from a hangover because most of us tend to drink more than usual on New Year's Eve, don't we? And stumbling to the bathroom, we step onto the bathroom scales. Yes, and it's important that we step onto the bathroom scales, not onto the kitchen scales. We don't want to break the scales, do we? No, of course we don't. Okay, so what normally happens when we step onto the scales? What tends to happen? What is our normal reaction? What tends to be our reaction? Yes, that's right. It's normally a surprise, isn't it? Yes, it tends to be a surprise. Sometimes it's a shock. But after we calm down and have a cup of coffee, then what tends to happen? Yes, that's right. We tend to think about what we have to do, and that's where the New Year's resolution comes in. Lots of people tend to make New Year's resolutions at the start of the new year. Now, what's a resolution when it's at home? Well, the verb that we get resolution from is the verb to resolve. And the verb to resolve means to decide to do something. But the verb to resolve means to decide firmly to do something. This isn't a decision which we just lightly make. No, this is a firm decision. We make the decision and we want to make sure that we stick to this decision. We want to make sure that we do what we've decided to do. This isn't just a decision, this is a firm decision. This is something we resolved to do. Okay, so the verb is to resolve to do something. And from the verb we get the noun, a resolution. And a resolution is just another word for a firm decision. And that's what people tend to make at the start of a new year. The idea is that you resolve, you firmly decide to do something. You take the start of the year as your cue to turn over a new leaf in your life, to start doing something that you've been thinking of for a long time, to make a fresh start. People tend to use the start of a new year to make a fresh start in part of their lives. Now, you probably heard a new word there, didn't you? The word cue. Okay, and what's a cue? Well, it's very simple. A cue is a signal, which originally comes from the world of theatre. If you're an actor in a play, then there are certain things which other actors do or say which tell you that it's time for you to come onto the stage or to do something or to say something. You don't do these things until you get the signal, until you get your cue. So the word started out in the world of the theatre, but it crossed over into the real world too. Now we can use the word cue as a synonym for signal. It's as simple as that. Imagine you have to go to a party with your wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend, but you don't really want to stay all night. Before you get to the party, you can agree a cue with your partner. If you look at your partner and then look at your watch, for example, that might be the cue, the signal, the prompt to indicate or tell your partner that it's time to leave. You don't want to say anything rude, do you? No, of course you don't. You don't want to say to these people, your hosts, something like, "Sorry, but your party is really boring, so we're going home." That would be rude and offensive. So, rather than insulting your hosts, you agree a signal, a cue, with your partner in advance, and then later, at the party, when you want to leave, you signal your partner with the cue, and then you can leave without offending your hosts. All right, so we know the verb to resolve. You resolve to do something. You decide that you're going to do something, and nothing is going to stop you. You've resolved to do something. You've made a resolution, which is what we all do when the new year starts. And we realize that, well, we're not as slim as we were a couple of weeks ago.
Well, couldn't we make a parachute out of your trousers?
Well, we could make an aircraft hanger out of yours.
Don't you start calling me Mr. Wobbly Bottom, young lad.
And why not, Mr. Two Planets Colliding in a Pair of Pants? Look, this is no time for a discussion about the vastness of your bottom. We have got to get off the roof, you madman!
Okay, so just like Eddie and Richie, we've all put on some weight. And now comes the time when we have to resolve, to firmly decide, to make a resolution to lose weight. Okay, so that's decided. Lots of people wake up in the first couple of weeks in January, look in the mirror, run to the toilet to vomit, and then resolve, decide, make a resolution to lose weight. And what words do you think they use when they're making this resolution? What phrase, what verb are they going to use? Well, what's the verb which means to eat less? Yes, that's right. The verb we use is the verb to diet. To diet is to eat less than usual in order to lose weight. So, we know the verb to put on weight. That's when we talk about someone gaining weight. So when someone gets fatter, when someone steps onto the bathroom scales and they see that the number is more than the last time they looked. And now we know the opposite verb too. To lose weight means to become thinner. so that when we step onto the scales, the number we see is lower than it was the last time we looked. So, we know the verb to diet, and there's another way that we can use this too. It's more natural to use the form of to go on a diet. So, although it's possible to use the verb to diet, it's more natural to use the form of go on a diet. Although it's possible to use the verb to diet in the present continuous, it's more natural to say that someone is on a diet instead. I've put on 3 kilos since Christmas. I have to diet. I've put on 3 kilos since Christmas. I have to go on a diet. I mean, it's possible to use the verb to diet, but it's more normal, more natural to use the phrase to go on a diet. And because we can see that we're using a verb we know, to go, we know that we can conjugate the phrase to talk about other people dieting as well, very easily. If we look at the example, then we can see that I used the have to idea to show that I think that this is something which is required, it's necessary. The teacher gave the class some work to do for tomorrow, so I have to do my homework. The boss told her to finish the report before the meeting, so she has to finish the report before 2 p.m. He's put on 23 kilos since Christmas, so he has to go on a diet. Okay, but with dieting, we normally talk about it in the past simple, or as something we're planning to do, something we're going to do. It's not very common to use the present simple here. So, I can say that last month I was on a diet. I can say that next week I'm going on a diet. I can say that in January I'm going to go on a diet. If we want to let someone know about the situation now, if I'm restricting my calorific intake now, this week, or around now in general, then how can we do it? Well, to tell someone, to let them know, to inform them that at the moment you're not eating as much as usual, to tell them that you're watching your calories, you're watching what you eat, you're deliberately eating less than you were a few weeks ago, then there's a very simple way of saying that. You tell people that you're on a diet. So, if we want to tell people that we're planning to restrict our calorific intake at some point in the future, then because it's something we planned, we tend to use going to. I'm going to go on a diet next Monday. If we're dieting now, I know, I just used the verb in the present continuous, but only to help with the explanation. It's not something we normally do. So if at the moment, at this time, around now, someone is deliberately eating less than they normally do, then we say that that person is on a diet. So we've got all the bases covered. If we're talking about now, then we take a subject. I, you, the Hulk, Cleopatra, the Arsenal football team, the American Navy, whoever. Add the correctly conjugated form of the verb to be, am, is, or are, and then add the words on a diet. Simple pimple. I am on a diet. You are on a diet. The Hulk is on a diet. Cleopatra is on a diet. Snoopy is on a diet. We are on a diet. You are on a diet. The Arsenal football team is on a diet. And on that note, with that new information about Arsenal being on a diet, we're going to have to leave you. Yes, it's true. Our time is up and it's time for me to leave. Yes, but don't worry. I've still got my eyebrows and that's all that I need. As for you, well, don't spill any milk, but if you do, you all know what to do, don't you? Yes, that's right. Damp cloth, no tears. All right, well, we'll start off tomorrow with another quick roundup of the ways that we can talk about being on a diet. But until then, relax, have fun, and if you're not on a diet, have another biscuit or a cake or something. I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, check out the website with the 3 Ks, www.mediaclick.hu. That's where the older lessons are stored, and that's where you can find the vocabulary lists. All right, people, I'll see you tomorrow. See you all later. Bye.